My view is that people, I think we're in a trouble in Jamaica, serious trouble. And it is not the kind of trouble that you can quickly waltz your way out of. Now, we've been battling this murder problem for decades, so 4.5 decades to be exact. And clearly, the problem is not a yesterday problem. So the solution is not one that is going to come overnight either. I suspect, though, that because people have become so fed up with the rate at which Jamaicans kill each other, we have now come to a sort of an acceptance that the answer to the problem is to kill our way out of that problem. So if somebody is alleged to be a murderer, a killer, don't bother with the court system. Just deal with it. And clearly this is the modus operandi of the Jamaica police force. Now again, let me make it clear, because I don't want no brief for nobody, no politician, no police, no criminal, no nothing. As a Jamaican, and a Jamaican who believe in as much as the system is under pressure and have all kind of fissures and fractures about it, I still believe in the principle of the delivery of justice. And so every person who is accused and charged must, by virtue of the canons of a civil society, have them day in court. Again, that though seem to be where we are heading. We are now into the 135 days in the year 2025. And over the 135 days, the Jamaica police has killed more than 125 people. I am not going to argue as to whether or not all of them or some of them were criminals. But against the background of the failure of our judicial system, the failure of our society to find an immediate cure to the murder problem, we have now seemed to embrace the response that the police is taking, that they are now the judge, the juror, and the executioners. No civil society, no society who claim to be civil should give credence to this, because one thing that I know in my 60 odd years is that when people get into the habit of killing, which is the problem we have in Jamaica, those killers over time, for them it becomes a habit, and the police is no exception. What is worse is that the police have this awesome level of authority, even without having to resort to that. And so when you add this mandate that they've been given, it is a succinct mandate that our Prime Minister, Andrew Holness, has given to the police to, and I remember I said a succinct mandate, right? When you, as a politician, go out on a platform and you say, don't leave no stone unturned, when you say, if you challenge the police, you're going to be responsible for whatever else happened to you. That is what you call a dog whistle, a wolf whistle even, right? A cow whistle to say, kill them, get rid of them, because that's where we are. the most recent case is this guy here in um in this guy Giovanni Ellis. Now Giovanni Ellis was reportedly arrested and charged for assault, rape apparently, including, and he was offered bail by the judge. The impression was given that he was in prison. He was arrested, and his mother refused to bail him because his mother claimed him to be a troublemaker. And so the system, however we want to look at it, the system provided him with bail. And then we have on Friday the announcement of the finding of this young 9-year-old girl stuffed in a barrel, who they determined, there's nothing conclusive. She was dead, yes, but the arguments offered was that she was beaten, raped, and murdered. Now, I don't know if there is any evidence, the scientific evidence, rape kit, whatever was done, because the what was clear is that the blame was placed at the foot of this now deceased Giovanni Ellis, and the Prime Minister jumped up and announced a $2 million reward for the capture of the person who was responsible for this act, and made a no stones unturned thing. But essentially, between the regular media and social media, this person, Ellis, was tried, convicted, right, without any meaningful evidence offered behind it, and the police went and executed him, right? Now, me know a whole heap of people that go jump up and make all kind of argument, but me still believe in the principle, the process of law and order. Now, if we have a legal system that is not working, what we need to do is to go fix that, because a big part of the reason why people kill people in Jamaica is because of the potential for them to get away with it. We do not convict more than 10% of the people who are charged for any kind of crime in Jamaica. 10%. Police may arrest a number of people, but of the arrests that are made by police, only about 60%. Well, only 60% of the people that the police may hold on to eventually gets charged for an offense. And of that 60%, less than 50% of them actually face the courts. Less than 50%. So do the math. If we have 1,000 events, only 500 people get charged. So for the other 500, nobody is charged. And of the 500 that is charged, less than just about half of them end up with a case coming before the court, which brings it down to 25%. And of the 25% of those people charged, right, less than 20% of them is actually convicted. So if you take that 20% as a percentage of the overall 1,000, remember it's only 20% of 250, right? 20% of 250, which is 50 people. So out of the 1,000 people that gets charged, is only 5% is your conviction rate. That is the reason why we have the kind of murder problems that we're having in Jamaica. Because our justice system is an abysmal failure. But does that give the police and the society the right to say to the police, go out a road then and execute them as you would have a mind? Because that's where we are, right? We are now at that stage in our existence as Jamaicans where what we are saying is that the way to stop murder is by committing murder ourselves. And whether people want to label it so yes or no, the fact is that these behaviors are extrajudicial killings. Let me put it in another context. And clearly this Giovanni Ellis guy seems to have been a problem, right? There is no arguing that. What we cannot argue satisfactorily, or we cannot seriously argue, is whether or not he was actually responsible for committing this crime, because no evidence has been adduced and provided against it, right? None whatsoever. He never had his day in court. And when we reach this stage as a country, as a people, where we are going to justify barbarism as a methodology of delivering or dispensing justice, we're gone. We're gone. So here's why don't we go to the next level? Because since we can get the police the right for butcher anybody and kill just about anybody that them feel, because them don't have to prove that the person is committing a crime, right? You just need to have an allegation raised against them. And the police now have the right to go out there by Jamaica's response and murder them, right? And nobody will ask any questions. So why don't we just go further and just say to people, the average citizen, don't bother report no incident. When anything happens, just take the law in your own hands. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you think about what you think. Me not have no axe or grind against anybody. Me not really believe, me not support no criminality. Me not support it with the criminal, and me not support it when it's committed by the police either. What I say is that if we have a problem with the justice system, we need to fix it, right? Do I believe that some of these people are criminals? Possibly. But without the evidence that we can point them out, what are we left with, right? It is only a matter of time that the police having been given this blank check to do this thing. It is only a matter of time before they use the cover of that blank check to wreak their own personal vendettas against people who some of them have issues with, right? It is only a matter of time before they turn those guns on innocent Jamaicans. If you disagree with me, let me hear what you think. Write it in the comments. If you like the video, hit the like button and share it. Let's have a discussion, right? It's not a question of whether you agree with me or not. Let's have a civil discussion on this issue. Yes, crime is a problem. But is this the way to go about solving it? If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, hit the subscribe button so we get more like this. Respect.